Hi, this is Fred Quay, the Diamond Guy. Today we're going to talk about platinum versus white gold, or is this white gold or is this platinum? Sometimes it's hard to tell. You walk into a jewelry store, you see two rings, they both look nice. If we zoom in on these, what you see is they look almost identical, and yet one is 3 times more expensive than the other. Should you spend that much more money for a platinum band versus a white gold band? What are the benefits of platinum versus white gold? Are there any? Should everybody buy white gold? All right, so those are some of the questions that I want to answer today. First, let's talk about white gold. There is no such thing as pure white gold. Gold is yellow. This is a $50 gold piece. It's pure yellow gold. That's kind of what gold looks like. You can see even this picture here, there's a nugget of gold that's come out of the ground, and you can see what it looks like. Gold occurs naturally yellow. These are a bunch of nickels here. It turns out nickels aren't really made 100% out of nickel. Only about 25% nickel, the rest is copper. But when you mix a white metal like nickel and you mix it with gold at an atomic level, you can get this whitish color looking ring. Then what the jewelers do, you can see this wonderful contraption I've got here. This is obviously not any special metal. This is just a foil that I've put on top of this container. But if you'll bear with me, I want you to imagine for a second that this tube that I have here is just a giant section of a wedding band. So we've taken a tube of a wedding band and we're looking at it, and we want to know, gee whiz, if I don't get to touch this, just by looking at it, would I be able to tell whether or not it's white gold or platinum? And the answer is no, because once they take gold, mix it with nickel, then they take something called rhodium, which is in the platinum metals group, and they put, just like I put this layering on top of it, they plate the white gold with this rhodium coating on there, and then make it look nice and shiny. But what you can't see is what's hiding underneath this coating of rhodium. So if I slowly remove this and we start to take a look at an atomic level of what's going on in a white gold ring, what we find is we see atoms of gold and we see the atoms of nickel. And this is what you really need to try to remember, is this really thin little layer that's making you think, ooh, that white gold is so beautiful. This will wear off. And once it wears off, what you're going to see is something called bleed through, where all of these yellow gold atoms start to bleed through this particular shell. And so over time, white gold starts to turn yellow. Now, are there some advantages to getting a white gold ring? Well, certainly. Cost is a huge one. Let's say you're somebody who's buying a ring and you love variety, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to get this setting now, but in a few years I'm going to change something else. And I think white gold is a great option for that, because for starters, if we consider that right now, when we film this today, an ounce of gold was about $1,400 an ounce. And about an ounce of nickel is about $13 an ounce. So if a 14 karat gold ring is 58.5% pure gold and 41.5% nickel, you can see roughly when we mix these two together, when you have a ring that's made out of white gold, it really only has about $700 worth of precious metal. Now, here's the thing. People say to me, well, Fred, I want something that's not just valuable, but I want something that's durable. Well, if I've got to put a little thin plating of rhodium on my white gold ring so it looks pretty, and this wears off, in many cases, in a few months, easily within a year, depending on how thick it is. There are some rhodium platings that can be as much as 40 times thicker than this, but your typical commercial plating is only about 1/10 max of a millimeter I'm sorry, not even a millimeter, of a micron thickness. So it's talking very, 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 very thin rhodium coating on there. So what you get with a white gold ring is you get a ring that from a cost standpoint is about a third less, so that's a benefit. And then what happens is, as you wear a white gold ring and you start nicking it and scratching it, because gold is soft, the metal gets left behind. So they typically say that a white gold ring is good for maybe one generation. Over time, as the years go on, the rhodium coating will be the first to go. After the rhodium coating goes and you see the yellow bleed through, then the metal itself will start to wear off. And then eventually you'll have to get a new shank or something. Now, with a platinum ring, the advantage is that when you scratch a platinum ring, you end up having a ring that just repositions the atomic structure. Because, not to get too technical, but if you look at the density of gold, you've got something that's around 19 grams, density-wise. And then if you look at the density of platinum, about 21. So people would say, well, Fred, the density of platinum and gold are very similar. Yeah, but here's the ticket. The density of nickel is very, very low. So the minute you mix it with the, platinum, the minute you mix it with the gold, you suddenly get something that's not as durable and doesn't last as long. Now, let's talk about platinum for a second. Here I've got a pure platinum coin that was minted. And when you typically have what's called, like I say, a 950 platinum ring, that means it's made out of 95% pure platinum. And then, let's see if I pick this up. This is a little, I don't know if you can see that, that's a little piece of iridium. And so you take 90% platinum. This is just kind of like the egg yolk that you mix when you're making a hamburger patty. You mix the two pieces together and you get whatever platinum item that you want. Now, right now, platinum is about $1,800 an ounce, and iridium is about $1,100 an ounce. So you can see that you're using two metals that are extremely expensive versus nickel, which is just dollars an ounce versus hundreds of dollars an ounce. So let's look at this. Let's recap. In this tube, what we see would be theoretically a blown up version of what white gold looks like at an atomic level. It has all these gold atoms just floating in there. So if you buy it, know that it doesn't have a long shelf life. Over time, you're going to have a lot of maintenance. You're going to have to keep putting new rhodium coatings on top of it so you don't see that bleed through. But if your reaction is, Fred, I think every few years I'm going to change my setting anyway, this ends up being a good choice. If you look at the atomic structure of platinum, what you see is there's no yellow here. Platinum occurs naturally all white. It's also hyperallergenic. Let's say your skin is very sensitive. It's possible that the nickel that's mixed in there can interfere with your skin pores and actually make you break out and have a rash and stuff. So if you're like, no, I want the best, I want the most durable, I want something that will last for many, many years, multi-generational, low maintenance, I think the platinum is the way to go. If you're saying, Fred, I'm trying to keep my costs down, I don't know if this is the setting I'm going to want forever, and I might switch it out to something else, then gee whiz, I think white gold is the way to go. So I don't think there is a correct answer that platinum is always good in every situation or white gold is always good in every situation. I think you've got to look at the long term. If you're saying, I want to keep this forever, platinum. If you're thinking just short term, I think white gold is a good short-term solution. Maybe you could refer to white gold as the Band-Aid solution. Anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. Love you guys. This is Fred Quare, the Diamond Guy. Talk to you next time.